Hello, beautiful listeners, and welcome back to Lovely Podcast, where we dive into all things life, love, and those little sparks that make our world brighter. I'm your host, Leah, and today we're focusing on something we all could use a little more of: optimism. And I have little surprise for you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, and I'm so excited to join Leah for this inspiring conversation. Optimism isn't just about seeing the glass as half full, it's about finding joy in the journey and believing in better days ahead.
Exactly, Sarah. Today, we're sharing personal stories, tips to stay positive even when life feels heavy, and why embracing optimism can truly change your perspective, and maybe even your life.
So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's dive into the beautiful world of hope, positivity, and the power of seeing the silver lining.
Let's get started, shall we? Welcome to Lovely Podcast. Optimism, a superpower for your health or just wishful thinking? Today, we're exploring how your outlook might be the secret ingredient to a longer, healthier life.
Oh, that's an intriguing way to put it. I've always wondered about the real impact of our mindset on our well-being. So, what does the research actually say about optimism and health?
Well, you might be surprised by just how powerful optimism can be. Studies have shown that optimists have a significantly lower risk of cardiovascular diseases, better immune function, and even tend to live longer. It's like their positive outlook acts as a protective shield for their bodies.
Wow, that's fascinating. Do we have any specific numbers on how much longer optimists tend to live?
Actually, we do. A study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that optimists were more likely to live past age 85, with the most optimistic men and women enjoying 11 to 15% longer lifespans on average. It's pretty remarkable when you think about it.
That is remarkable. But I'm curious, how exactly does optimism translate into these health benefits? Is it just about feeling good, or is there more to it?
Great question. It's not just about feeling good, although that's certainly part of it. Optimists tend to have lower stress levels, which can have a direct impact on physical health. They're also more likely to engage in healthy behaviours, like regular exercise and balanced diets. But there's even more to it than that.
Oh, what else is at play here?
Well, it turns out that optimism can actually affect our bodies at a cellular level. Research has shown that optimists have longer telomeres. These are the protective caps at the end of our chromosomes that are associated with longevity. It's like optimism is working its magic right down to our DNA.
That's incredible. It's almost like optimism is a form of preventive medicine. But here's what I'm wondering. Is optimism something we're born with, or can we develop it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the good news is, while some people might naturally lean towards optimism, it's absolutely a skill that can be developed. In fact, psychologists estimate that about 25% of our optimism set point is inherited, which means the other 75% is within our control.
That's encouraging. So how can someone start to cultivate more optimism in their life?
Well, there are several strategies. One of the most effective is practicing gratitude. By regularly focusing on what we're thankful for, we can shift our attention from what's lacking to what we have. Another powerful technique is challenging negative self-talk. You know, that little voice in our head that's always criticizing us?
Oh, I know that voice all too well. So how do we go about challenging it?
It's about becoming aware of those thoughts and actively working to reframe them. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I always mess things up," you might reframe it as, "I made a mistake, but I can learn from this." It's not about ignoring reality, but about approaching it with a more constructive attitude.
That makes sense. It's like rewiring our thought patterns, but I imagine it takes practice, right?
Absolutely. It's not an overnight process. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you practice optimistic thinking, the stronger and more natural it becomes. And here's something interesting. Studies have shown that even forced smiles can trick our brains into feeling more positive. It's called the facial feedback hypothesis.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about, the mind-body connection. It's fascinating how our physical actions can influence our mental state and vice versa.
Right. And it goes even deeper than that. Optimism isn't just about positive thinking. It's about how we explain the events in our lives. Psychologists call this our explanatory style.
Explanatory style? Can you elaborate on that?
Sure thing. Optimists tend to see negative events as temporary and specific, while pessimists view them as permanent and pervasive. For instance, if an optimist fails a test, they might think, "I didn't study enough for this one." A pessimist might think, "I'm just not smart enough." See the difference?
Oh, I see. So it's not just about being positive, but about how we interpret and explain our experiences.
Exactly. And this explanatory style can have a huge impact on how we handle stress and setbacks. Optimists are more likely to see challenges as opportunities for growth, which makes them more resilient in the face of adversity.
That's really powerful. But, I can't help but wonder, is there such a thing as being too optimistic? Could it ever be detrimental?
That's a great question. While optimism generally has many benefits, you're right to consider potential downsides. Unrealistic optimism can sometimes lead people to underestimate risks or fail to prepare for potential challenges. The key is to cultivate what psychologists call realistic optimism.
Realistic optimism? What does that look like in practice?
Well, it's about maintaining a positive outlook while still acknowledging and preparing for potential obstacles. For example, a realistic optimist starting a new business might think, "This venture has great potential, but I know there will be challenges. I'm prepared to work hard and learn from any setbacks I encounter."
I see. So it's not about blind positivity, but about approaching challenges with hope and preparedness.
Exactly. And this balanced approach can be incredibly powerful. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that realistic optimists tend to be more successful in their careers and relationships than both pessimists and unrealistic optimists.
That's fascinating. It really underscores the importance of finding that sweet spot between positivity and realism. As we start to wrap up, what would you say are the key takeaways for our listeners who want to cultivate more optimism in their lives?
Great question. I'd say the main points to remember are: first, optimism is a skill that can be developed, not just an innate trait. Second, practicing gratitude and challenging negative self-talk are powerful tools for cultivating optimism. Third, aim for realistic optimism. Maintain a positive outlook while still acknowledging and preparing for challenges. And finally, remember that small changes in your thinking can lead to significant improvements in your health and well-being over time.
Those are excellent takeaways. Any final thoughts before we close?
Well, I think it's important to emphasize that becoming more optimistic is a journey, not a destination. It's about making small, consistent changes in how we think and approach life. And the best part is, we can start right now. Every small step towards optimism can make a big difference in our lives. So, why not start today? Your future self might just thank you for it.
That's a wonderful note to end on. Thank you for this enlightening discussion. And to our listeners, we hope this episode has inspired you to cultivate more optimism in your own lives. Remember, a brighter outlook isn't just about feeling good, it could be the key to a longer, healthier, and more fulfilling life. Until next time, keep looking on the bright side.
Oh, summer love, you came so fast, like the sun, you couldn't last. Moments bright, but times unkind, leaving memories etched in my mind. Moonlit strolls along the shore, every step left me wanting more. Your hand in mine, the world stood still, but seasons change against our will. The wind carried promises we made, only to let them softly fade. Now the days grow cool, the nights feel long, but in my heart, you're still the song. Oh, summer love, you came so fast, like the sun, you couldn't choking on me, Papa.